Instagrammer family. My name is Simran Rajwani and today I am going to recommend you 10 books for beginners, and I promise you as a booktuber that these recommendations will be very fresh, very new and very poignant. So without further ado, let's get started into the video. And also, in order to keep things interesting, we are going to play a little game, and that is each of the book is going to have 3 check boxes. So if any of the books checks all the boxes for you, you as a beginner basically know which book to order. So that is going to probably make the process easier for you as a beginner. So let's get into the recommendations. So the first book that I am going to recommend you is The Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. So the first reason to read this book is that the writing of the book is so easy to read and so mesmerizing that even a non-reader can read a book in more than or less than a week. And second, in case you want to read women-centric characters, because this book is about 2 women, that is Maryam and Laila, who are married to the same man Rashid in Afghanistan, which is a country which is stricken by war, and how they develop a bond in that home of theirs where they usually have to face a lot because also of the Taliban rule. So yes, and third, it is a highly popular book, so the chances of you picking a popular book are much higher than picking a non-popular book. Next book that we are going to talk about is For One More Day by Mitch Albom. So basically this book is only under 200 pages. So one of the reasons of reading this book is that it is under 200 pages. Second, in case you want to read something which is very heartwarming, which is very emotional, because this book is about a man who is basically in the middle of life and death, and in the middle of life and death he gets to live one day in his childhood with her dead mother, and he experiences and sees all what his mother has gone through to raise him and his family up, is what the book is all about. And the third reason to read this book is in case you want to bawl your eyes out while reading a book, if you want to cry reading a book, this is one of the best places to start. The third book that I am going to recommend you is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I am currently reading this book, and this book is such a fast-paced thriller. So in case you want to read a book which is fast-paced, you should be picking this book up. In case you want to read a book which also has a movie on it, so that after reading the book you can see what the characters were like, you can pick this book up. The movie is on Netflix starring Pariniti Chopra, and it also has another movie which is made in Hollywood starring Emily Blunt. So you can watch 2 movies and 1 book. And third, in case you are bored by reading or listening to recommendations of reading Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, this is one good thriller that comes to the level of that book, so you can definitely check this book out. This book that I am going to recommend you is Hunachi by Perumal Murugan. So in case you want to read a book which is translated literature, because this book is translated from Malayalam to English, and in case you want to read an Indian author, you want to discover new Indian authors, Perumal Murugan is the best place to start. And this story is about an old man and wife who adopt a black goat which is very unnatural in their area, and they raise him as a child because they are very old and all their children are married, and they bring him from a toddler to an adult, and the small instances that take place and the difficulties with which they raise him. And in case you're bored with reading stories about humans and now you want to read about animals, this is one of the best places to start. Next book that I am going to recommend you is The Stars Shine Down by Sydney Sheldon. So in case as a beginner you want to read the book which does not require much of your effort and attention, in case you want to read badass women characters who want to take over the world, this is the book to start with. In case you want to read a story which tells the story of rags to riches, because this book tells us a book about Lara Cameron, who is working at a boarding house, basically taking care of people, and how she becomes one of the famous architectural contractors in New York, a city like New York. This is the book you should be picking up. The next book that I am going to talk about is a highly popular book, and it is one of the first books that anybody ever read as a teenager, and that is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This is one of the best places to start with as a beginner in case you want to read something in fantasy fiction genre. In case you don't want to be labeled as muggle, you definitely should pick this book out if you don't want to be left out as someone who does not know about this magical book. And this book is about, do I need to explain it? About a boy named Harry Potter who basically goes to this school that is Hogwarts, and he learns about witchcraft and all his adventures with his friends. In case you also want to be a part of the Harry Potter world, you should definitely check this book out. They have amazing movies made out of the book, so after reading this book you can also experience that magical world on your screen. So the next book that I am going to recommend you is a classic, and that is The Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. So in case you want to start with a very easy classic, in case you want to start with a book which is very cheap, so this book is also under ₹100 on Amazon and other websites as well. In case you want, this is a children's classic, and this is a very thin book as well, so it won't take you much time to finish this book. And as a non-reader, the satisfaction of finishing a book is more empowering than any other thing for picking up the next book or the next writer. Also, the book I mentioned has a Hindi version, so in case you aren't very fluent with English, you can also read the Hindi version, that is Kala Ghoda. The next book that I am going to recommend you is by an author who is the king of Indian novels, and that is Ruskin Bond's The Room on the Roof. So in case you want to read an author who is the king of Indian novels, definitely check Ruskin Bond's books. In case you want to read an author who writes about all ages and about all things, you name the thing and he has a book on it. If you want to read about hills, valleys, mountains, trees, he has ghosts, he has books written on all of those topics. And in case you want to read something which is very easy but also very heart touching and cozy and comfy, definitely check Ruskin Bond's The Room on the Roof, or any other book by Ruskin Bond would also do, because they are all very easy and very comforting to read. So the next book that I am going to recommend you is again a middle grade book, and that is The Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kenney. And the first reason of reading this book is that it has pictures inside it, so you can see all these lovely illustrations inside the book. In case you want to read something very personal, because this book is all about the diary of a kid, so you're basically getting into someone's diary, which is sneaky and creepy and amazing as well. So I think this would be a perfect book as a beginner, and at a lot of sites this book is also available for 99 rupees, so it won't be a problem. In case you want, I'll link those websites down as well. And definitely check this little kid's diary, which I'm holding upside down. So the next book and the last book that I'm going to talk about is, I don't have a physical copy of that book. I have already ordered the book from Bookstore and it is going to arrive soon. And the book is The Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. So I'm talking about the Percy Jackson series. So in case you want to read something funny, because the book has literally jokes on everybody, like you can read it at any age point of your life and it has jokes about everybody. Second, if you want to read something which is very fast paced but is not very rushed, and it also gives you a morality lesson or a morality check after each book or after every chapter, definitely check Percy Jackson series out. Third, this book is basically about a boy who is half demon, half god, and if you think that you are half demon and half god, you should definitely check this book out. So these were all the books that I wanted to recommend to you, and I hope you enjoyed the recommendations. In case you have recommendations for all the beginners out there, please leave them down in the comment section, and please tell your thoughts about the video, and I love to read your comments. And please hit a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you only like my comment, and see you in the next video.